Okay, so are you ready for this? Because today we're going deep, really deep.
Deeper than deep.
Exactly. Deeper than we've ever gone before.
Whoa, that's exciting.
Yeah. We're talking about the genetics of unity.
I like that. The genetics of unity.
I know, right? It sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it does.
So basically, we've got all this research, right, from the eclectic scout community.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah. And let me tell you, this stuff is seriously mind-blowing.
I bet it is.
You ready for the main point?
Lay it on me.
We're all related.
Wait, what? Like everyone.
Everyone. Like every single human being on this planet is connected.
Huh, you don't say.
I do say. Imagine, like, a giant family tree, but for the entire human race.
That's a massive tree.
I know, right? It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it kind of puts things into perspective.
I know, right? So modern genetics, that's how we know all this.
Yeah, genetics is amazing.
It really is. And apparently, all signs point back to Africa.
As in, like, the origin of humanity.
Yep, it all started there.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is, right. Like, we can actually trace our ancestry back thousands of years to a single common ancestor in Africa.
Hold on, so you're saying we're not just related in some abstract way, but like
Yeah.
we all came from the same individual.
Pretty much. Isn't that wild?
That's unbelievable.
I know. It's like, think about it.
I am thinking about it.
Like, all these different groups of humans, right? They migrated out of Africa over thousands of years.
Yeah, I've heard about these migrations.
Right. So they spread across continents, adapted to all these different environments.
That makes sense.
And with each generation, the genetic story, like, got more and more complex, more diverse.
I can only imagine.
But get this, that original connection, that thread that ties us all back to that single point of origin, still there.
It's still in our DNA.
It's still in our DNA. Isn't that amazing?
That's mind-blowing.
It really is. I've always been super fascinated by, like, the whole mitochondrial Eve and Y chromosomal Adam thing.
Ah, yeah, the ancestral lineage thing, right?
Yeah. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so basically, picture this. These aren't like actual historical figures, okay? It's more like representations of our deep ancestry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so your mitochondrial DNA, right, it comes from your mom, who got it from her mom, and so on, going back thousands of generations.
Okay, I'm following.
So that DNA contains a trace, right, a trace of this mitochondrial Eve.
So it links me back to her.
Basically, and not just you, but like people from all over the world, every continent.
Wow.
I know, and the same thing goes for the Y chromosome, which gets passed down through the father's side.
Oh, okay, so that connects us back to Y chromosomal Adam.
You got it. It's crazy to think about.
It really is. It's like holding this, like, tangible link to the past.
Like a genetic time machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that always trips me up.
What's that?
Like, people all over the world look so different, right?
Hmm.
So how does that fit with this whole genetic unity thing?
That's a great question, and that's where it gets super interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
So think of it like this, right? Imagine siblings. They share the same parents, but they can look completely different.
True.
It's kind of like that with humans. We actually share, get this, 99.9% of our DNA with every other human on the planet.
Wait, seriously, 99.9%.
99.9%. And that tiny 0.1% difference, that's what accounts for all the variations we see, like skin color, hair texture, eye shape.
So all that diversity, it's just like a tiny fraction of our genetic makeup.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Wow, 99.9%.
Yeah.
That's just, it's incredible.
It is, right? It makes you think.
It really does. But, okay, so what about that 0.1%? Like, what does that tell us about human identity and all that?
Well, it kind of highlights that our differences, even though they're so visually striking, they're really superficial when you look at it from a genetic perspective.
Superficial, huh?
Yeah, it's like the things that we tend to focus on, the things that divide us, they're actually not that significant compared to the huge genetic heritage we all share.
That's a powerful thought.
It is, right? It's like we're all way more alike than we are different.
Yeah. So if we wanted to, like, picture this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like a giant family tree with branches all over the globe.
Exactly. Some branches are closer together, some are further apart, but they all go back to that same trunk,
And that trunk is in Africa.
rooted in Africa, the birthplace of humanity.
Wow. You mentioned this idea of humanizing the other.
Yeah, it's a powerful concept.
It is. But wouldn't some people say that focusing on our differences is important too?
Absolutely. Recognizing and celebrating our diversity is crucial.
Right.
But the key is to understand that diversity exists within this framework of shared ancestry.
So it's not about pretending we're all the same.
Not at all. It's about understanding that our differences are variations on a common theme, like different flavors of the same ice cream.
I like that analogy.
Right. We can appreciate the different flavors without forgetting that it's all ice cream.
Exactly. So it's more about shifting our perspective, seeing our differences through this lens of shared humanity.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective can actually change how we behave.
Really? How so?
Well, there have been studies, right? And they show that when people are reminded of their shared ancestry, they're more likely to help others, even those from different backgrounds.
Like, just knowing we're all connected makes us more compassionate.
It's like our biology is pushing us towards cooperation. It's fascinating.
It really is. So, okay, we've talked a lot about the past, but what about now? What does all this mean for us in the present?
Well, it kind of forces us to rethink what it means to be part of a global community, right? If we really grasp that we're all part of this one big human family.
Then the lines that divide us start to fade.
Exactly. And that shared genetic heritage, it becomes a powerful argument for empathy and compassion.
It's like if you're arguing with someone, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out they're basically family.
Changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it?
Completely. Instead of seeing them as an outsider, you see them as someone who shares your history.
You share a genetic legacy. And that recognition can break down prejudice and help build understanding.
Powerful stuff. And this understanding, it can have real-world implications.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the Eclectic Scout research talked about how recognizing our shared ancestry can actually inspire global cooperation.
Makes sense, right?
Totally. It's like if we're all in this together, then we have a responsibility to work together to solve problems.
Precisely. We're talking climate change, global health crises, all these huge challenges.
These are global problems, not just individual problems.
Exactly. And our shared genetic heritage emphasizes that point. It tells us that these are our problems to solve together.
We're not just individuals. We're part of something much, much bigger.
Part of the human story.
We are, and that's a powerful realization.
It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Whoa, time flies.
it really does. But here's something for everyone to think about, okay?
Okay, hit us with it.
If you truly, internalize this idea, right, that you're connected to every other human being on this planet through your genes, how would that change how you interact with the world? How would it change how you treat others? How would it change your perspective?
Wow, that's a deep question.
It is. It's something worth pondering.
Well,
Anyway, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening.
thanks for having me. This was awesome.
It was. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds open.
And remember, we're all connected.
We are.
Please click like and then subscribe. Also share this video with your friends. Thank you.